right, everybody, welcome back to the RGN Rocket League Cup. And we've got one doozy of a match. It's going to be Klassux versus Lachinio. Now, two players well known in the scene, but more than likely a lot of people giving the edge to Lachinio. And we'll see if he's going to be able to edge out Klassux here, as this is slated to be one of our more enjoyable matches of the night. Rider guys, my name is Bach. With me tonight is Hano. And we've been having a blast thus far. We watched Coleman take down Eugene after Eugene was able to win his early match against, I think it was Sneaky Pratt. But this is a pretty solid one, and it's actually Klassux who starts off with the 2-0 lead.
A little bit more aerials coming out of this game as well.
Oh, you're going to see a lot.
I do enjoy aerials because I can never do them. A little bit of a high-flying ball coming out towards the mid part of the field, but Klassux actually 3-0 early start, 50 seconds in. He's got the 3 goals. This is, you said that Lachinio is actually favored?
I'd say pretty heavily. Klassux is a good player, and I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but Lachinio is probably one of the best, Rocket League players, period, and especially in the 1v1 circuit. I mean, the dude is nuts. Expect to see a lot of aerial play and a lot of kind of like this, challenging players with, dribbles and takes on goal, not necessarily like that sloppy Rocket League you might sometimes see. It's probably going to be a very tactically oriented game. And it seems like right now Klassux has had a pretty good command of the ball, preventing from Lachinio from really being able to do much of anything. Lachinio going to play a game similar to Coleman here, just dribbling it along towards that blue wall. Klassux ends up going for the challenge, chips it up off the top of his head. He's going to send it off the wall and potentially go for the aerial hit, waits for it to settle back down instead, and then just taps it in towards the corner. And now Lachinio trying to do it again, trying to send it out. He's going to pop one up in towards the far corner, just off the post, hoping to play the rebound, but it's Klassux there to send it back towards the orange zone yet again.
Klassux looks going to do a little bit of a wall ride, doesn't actually take control of the ball, so Lachinio and him are both dueling it out for the ball on the blue side of the map, and sneaks it right past him instead. So Lachinio, a little bit more speed, I would say, than Klassux, and actually maybe Klassux didn't have quite the amount of boost to actually get back and save that instead. So Lachinio wins the face-off. It's going to hit out the right corner of that wall. This should be an easy goal for him, and it is. So Klassux, because he lost the face-off, and unfortunate position of the ball after that face-off happened. Actually, he beat him quite fairly to it, huh? I didn't actually see that. Klassux didn't even touch the ball in the face-off. So it's going to be 3-2. We saw that 3-0 early start, 50 seconds in, but Lachinio is making a comeback.
Yeah, Lachinio had plenty of time here to find his groove, and he has found it. 2 very quick goals, and he's going to have control of the ball yet again here, and he's going to have it in the way he likes. Tries to send it up towards the corner, just a little bit too much mustard on that one. He's going to regain control back towards the center. He's going to send it off the wall, go for that boost control. Oh, Lachinio going off the wall, but it's a great save here from Klassux, catching it before it can bounce in over his head. Lachinio challenges, chips it up very high in the sky. Both players very talented in the air, but it's going to be Lachinio who wins that one. And now it's a 3-3 scoreline, kind of more along the lines of what we expected to see. Pretty close game, but with Lachinio kind of shining with these aerial maneuvers.
There's a lot of pressure being put on him and on Klassux on the blue side of the map. And another face-off. This time it's actually won by Klassux instead, and it's going to go right into the net. Seems like some of these face-offs are just unfortunate for some of the players, where it just happens to hit off the correct side of the wall and kind of goes right in. So 4-3 in favor of Klassux. Another face-off coming down a little bit. Lachinio is going to take control of it. Klassux gets back, and Lachinio takes control of one boost while Klassux does the other. And Klassux, beautiful save, gets that ball out of the front of the net. Lachinio, no goal that time. And we're going to get another boost out of Klassux instead. And he's going to be able to take the ball in his end of the map, but if he makes an error here, Lachinio actually gets that ball right in front of the net, doesn't make anything happen. And again, a lot of pressure being put on from Lachinio.
Great save here from Lachinio. Centering that ball was Klassux, but wasn't able to get into position in time. Now Lachinio's got the ball popped up. He's going to try and put it on the inside corner. Just misses ever so narrowly. And now the ball is going to dribble back out towards midfield. Klassux with control of it. Tries to pop it up, but doesn't do it in time. It's Lachinio who regains control, and he's going to chip that one into the goal. Klassux goes for the Explodinho. but instead it's going to result in a goal for Lachinio here. So now it's a 4-4 tied up yet again. Klassux flying into that ball very early on. Something you'll notice about all of these players is they approach the ball differently every single time on a face-off because they're trying to counter the way that their opponent approaches the ball. So they don't always necessarily go for that standard front flip you'll see in kind of the lower tier of play. Sometimes they'll go with an early barrel roll to send themselves in a really solid position. Sometimes a late barrel roll, hoping to play the deflection, giving their opponent control of the face-off, the first tap, but then taking it and sending it back into the opponent's zone. So it's kind of interesting here to see Lachinio approach the ball differently each time. He's finally going to get that toe lift as he sends it up over Klassux' head. Nothing Klassux can do about that. Lachinio taking the lead for the first time this game.
Beautiful ball handling. Look at that. Puts her on the roof of his car and just kind of flicks her on in. So let's see, Klassux. Let's see if he can win the face-off here. He actually decides to go really, really passive and instead goes for the aerial, hits it instead. And Lachinio picks up a boost. He's going to have control of the ball. Klassux, are you going to contest him here? And you are a little bit too late to the game. So Lachinio takes it with the aerial. He's doing a little bit, like you said, a little nose lift. He kind of takes the ball in the air by himself and pops it over the top to himself. Aerials up. That's insane. I don't think I've never done it. I mean,
I just imagine Klassux is sitting back and he's like, no! As he watches that ball sail into the net. It's Lachinio who's just been like constantly setting himself up to basically make Klassux look a little silly. He just pops the ball up ever so slightly and gives himself great position. He doesn't even play defense here. He thinks that Klassux is gonna, mess up the opportunity based on positioning alone, and it does happen that way. The send back a little too high, as is the return. So Lachinio misses the open net goal and then a potential opportunity for the rebound.
Come on, Klassux.
Klassux trying to get into the zone here, trying to tie up the score, get that 5th goal, and put himself in position to score one real quick one at the end of regulation. But Lachinio somehow gets the explosion onto Klassux, and with 15 seconds left, Lachinio just needs to control the ball here. Ball's going to chip in towards the orange zone. Really good centering opportunity here for Klassux, but he's so far out of position, he's not going to be able to stop it. It's now going to be a 6-4 game here as Lachinio closes out the first one. And this is a lot tighter than I think people had realized.
After that 3-0 start, I was a little bit confused. I mean, Lachinio obviously put on a lot of pressure at the end of the game. And these matches are getting more and more exciting to watch, for sure. Lachinio, a little bit different of a play style with those aerials, both ball control and aerials at the same time. Let me go shut my door real quick.
You go do that while we wait for this next game to start here. Lachinio, pretty much a legend in the Rocket League seed. Everyone knows who he is. He's playing for VQ Untethered. Like, everyone knows the team. Everyone knows what they're capable of. And in the 1v1 circuit, Lachinio is heavily respected. You can see how this game played out here as Lachinio had 12 shots on goal. That required Klassux to save the ball 5 times. Now, you could argue that Klassux' shot-to-goal ratio was healthier, but just the sheer volume of shots on goal by Lachinio to keep Klassux constantly playing defense shows you how that game played out towards the latter half. Klassux capitalized on early opportunities, but didn't do so later in the game. Lachinio is going to win the faceoff here, sends it back towards the goal. Klassux gets vertical here for the save. Oh, Lachinio. Great play from him to send it right back in. And that is an early start for him as Klassux couldn't quite get enough on that ball. Went for the corner boost, hoping Lachinio was out of position. And it's mistakes like that that result in an early lead for a player like Lachinio.
I wonder what players do to determine whether they're going to stand back or not. I think that's the first time. This is the first player I've seen actually do it at Klassux. In the other 2 previous matches, we haven't seen it out of any of the opponents so far. But they're going to do a little bit. But instead, Klassux is going to be able to get that ball away from him. So, good play by him. Lachinio goes up for the air. Doesn't actually get it. There's a wide open net on the other end. And Lachinio is way out of position. This should be a goal. Doesn't quite hit and hits a right pole instead. So, no goal coming out of here for Klassux. Lachinio going to keep putting that heavy pressure on the other end of the map. He's going to snag the boost. He's going to play a little bit more defensive. Klassux shoves the ball down on the other end. Goes all the way around. He's going to loop in front of the net, but Lachinio should be there in time. He dribbles it, just a splash. Kind of goes for an aerial, and Klassux interrupts him. So good defense on his end. And let's see what Klassux can do. Lachinio misses the ball, but Klassux is going to go. So they're both going for the ball right now. A lot of pressure coming out. The ball is going to be there with Lachinio instead. Klassux, he's going to be able to nudge it a little bit high in the air. There's going to be an aerial out of Lachinio, but is that going to put him too far out of position to save the ball on the other side of the map? It looks like it's not going to happen. Klassux is going to actually do a little bit of dribbling on his own. Can't quite get it over the head, loses control of it.
Yeah, Lachinio got that boost in mid. It forced Klassux to kind of reel back a little bit. And now Lachinio with the shot on goal. Klassux isn't going to be able to beat it. That was great play from Lachinio. So breaking down what I think is happening here with the face-offs, I think what Klassux is doing is potentially he's in an opportunity where he feels like he's not going to win the face-off. So rather he's going to go for the save and then play the rebound for an opportunity. And that's what happened earlier. He almost got that shot on goal, and he just pushed it a little too far wide to the right. But it came off of a save, and it turned into a fast break. So the idea is allow your opponent in towards the goal a little bit more. Let him take that early shot. Hope he plays the rebound. Try to beat him on the rebound, and then punish him by letting him sit so deeply in your own zone that your shot just can't be beat to the net. And that's exactly what he's been trying to do. He just hasn't really been able to do so thus far. He is going to catch Lachinio here a little bit off guard as Lachinio is forced to retreat in reverse. But great positional awareness there to back up onto the wall, go for the Spider-Man hit, back in towards the orange zone, chips it up over top of Klassux's head, drills it into the corner, but it's Klassux now trying to work his way out towards midfield. And this should be a goal here for Klassux. He jumps up, plays the rebound. 2-1 is the score.
Solid goal coming out of him. Lachinio, I'm also noticing is that even if he makes an error, so say he goes up on that wall, he kind of corrects himself and he's able to do that. So good job by him. Unfortunately, Klassux does get the goal. So it's going to be 2-1. Lachinio is going to be able to take control of the ball after the faceoff. He's going to grab the boost first, realizing that his opponent is on the end of the map, so he's all set. He's going to bring it on the other end towards his own goal here. He's going to ride along the wall. He's going to hit it quite aggressively, but Klassux is there to kind of nudge it out of the way and interrupt that opportunity. But is he going to be able to snag this? He's not. So he's going to steal the boost. Lachinio's going to grab the boost. He's going to flip upside down. Go for the aerial. Doesn't quite get it. So Klassux. He's going to be able to take control of the ball, and he has an open net here. Lachinio goes to the save. Doesn't quite hit it, but he interrupts him enough. Klassux enough so that he can't actually score either. Klassux, he should be able to get a goal here, and he does. So not only does he hit the ball off the corner to set himself up, but he knocks Lachinio right out of the way as well. And look at that. He just kind of says, get out of my way, man. I'm here to score some goals. 2-2. 2 minutes left.
Lachinio winning the face-off here, but Klassux gets an immediate tap on it to send it in towards the blue zone just a little bit. Still sitting up towards the midfield a bit. Lachinio is going to go for that flick of the hood, I guess you would say, as he tries to send it in towards goal. Klassux waits for it, holding on that post, patiently waiting. And now Klassux takes that lead. So Klassux is going to be up 3-2. Again, a little bit closer than I think people had anticipated. I know that Klassux is a talented player, but a lot of people look at Lachinio as the best, or one of the best, the top 3 for sure, 1v1 players in the world. Klassux with a nice wall bang there, jumping off, pushing it out towards midfield. Lachinio with the response, but it's going to dribble back in towards the blue corner. Lachinio is going to try and force it out towards midfield, but Klassux says no way, having none of that. Nice aerial shot off the wall by Lachinio to send it back out. And a potential shot opportunity here as Klassux is out of position. Klassux goes for it, and he does put something on it, but it stops on the post. Now Klassux has to try and beat Lachinio with the dribble. Lachinio does get a piece of it, but it's going to send out towards midfield anyway. Lachinio drills it into his own corner, trying to get control of it here. He's going to do so, and now he's going to try and juke Klassux if he can, and there you go. Nice moves. Klassux can't beat the ball. Wait! Yes, he does. A huge stop from Klassux. Can he do it again, though? Yes, he does. Able to survive the putback, and now he's on the strike himself.
The ball is going to be in Lachinio's end of the map. He has about 45 seconds to score 1 goal to tie it up and send this into overtime. So Klassux just has to make sure that he can get that ball out of the way of his own side. And if he just keeps pushing it towards the other end, I think he should be okay. So he actually slow dribbles it. Lachinio does distract him enough. The ball is going to be on Lachinio's side of the map. He's going to have full control of it. But Klassux is right there. Uh-oh, this might not be good. He does get back in time, so he's all set. Klassux, you just need to stop this ball, man. You got 20 seconds. 20 seconds. He does grab full boost. It's up in the air. Lachinio doesn't have any control of the ball right now. This is going to be quite high. It's going to go past the midpoint towards Klassux' goal. Oh, it hits off the post. 10 seconds left. 9, 8. Klassux. Oh no, Klassux went for the aerial, but there's not enough time. So fortunately, Lachinio isn't able to shove that in the net. That was kind of scary at the very end. But 3-2. So we're tied at 1.
Lachinio almost ties it up there. Way closer than I think people realized this was going to be, as Lachinio actually drops a game here to Klassux, and it was a pretty good performance from Klassux, but again, you can see the shot differential. Lachinio with 9 shots on goal versus Klassux's 6. Now, again, goal to shot differential is a little bit healthier here for Klassux, but the volume of shots keeps Klassux on defense quite often here. And he had to make 4 big saves there with a couple shots just a little too high and a little too wide from Lachinio. Those goals, it's just a matter of time before they find the back of the net. And really, not even the back of the net because the ball doesn't even reach that point. But Lachinio and Klassux definitely struggling right now. It's a fight of 2 titans, and neither one has really found a solid rhythm. I'd say that both players are kind of grueling it out. It's not like this dominant performance from Lachinio or Klassux, and I haven't really seen a whole lot of fantastic play. We've seen a couple of nice aerials from Lachinio, but it's also been a lot of mistakes and a lot of just back and forth from the two of them, and it's resulted in a really solid game of Rocket League.
There's a lot less dribbling going on too, but Lachinio with a beautiful aerial. So he takes hold of the ball, bops it up to himself, and sends it on the way. Klassux didn't get back in time, so it's going to be an early lead for Lachinio, 1-0. They're both going to go for the face-off here instead of Klassux playing the defensive role. It's going to hit off the wall. That should go right in front of the net and doesn't quite get enough cut on the ball. Lachinio's going to take control. Klassux is going to try to get back. He is going to get back in time. Yes. Hits off the post instead, so he's all set. Lachinio looks for that aggressive play and kind of gets another shot on goal. Another save by Klassux, and Klassux actually takes the ball to the other end of the stadium and shoves it in for a 1-1 tie.
Ooh, Lachinio does it again there. Very close opportunity, just missing ever so slightly, hits the post. So a goal that could have been his turning into a goal for his opponent. Lachinio is going to regain control here. He's got his composure, chips it up in the air, and Klassux was actually setting himself up in good position to stop it, just couldn't beat the ball there. So Lachinio finds himself in the lead right now with a 2-1 with 4:18 left. It's a 1-1 tie right now in this best of 5. And we'll see if they can continue to slug this out. It's been a very down and dirty game of Rocket League. Both players they're just feeling it right now. I mean, there's a lot of finesse play, and then there's just a lot of challenging and just headbutting and fighting for ball control. Lachinio is going to drill it into the corner here and tries to get control of it, but just can't do so, so he's going to head back towards his zone. Klassux with the send into the zone, not able to capitalize as Lachinio chips it out. Now there's going to be a challenge on the ball. Lachinio is going to beat Klassux to it, and that is going to be a goal. Lachinio finally getting the proper angle here. Puts it in from midfield. And the prowess there, just beating his opponent to the ball by a fraction of a second. You can see Klassux realize there's nothing he could do.
Shoot a midfield shot and goes right in, that's for sure. So they're both going to go for the face-off. Lachinio gets a little bit faster to the ball, but Klassux wins the face-off instead. Had a beautiful opportunity to get a goal there, Klassux, but he doesn't actually quite hit it. Hits off the roof of his car. Lachinio takes full control of the ball. Klassux is going to get back in time, shoves it in his own net. So another half-field shot coming out of Lachinio, just taking those errors away from Klassux, and decides, if you're going to meet me at midfield and I have ball control, I'll keep pushing into the back of the net every single time. So 4-1 in favor of Lachinio.
So Lachinio here off to a pretty good start in the third game. Klassux has been playing really solid, but he's starting to flatten out a little bit here as Lachinio is getting airborne left and right, flying into the goal. And you can see some people in chat saying, thing is against Lachinio is you got to play patient and wait for him to make mistakes. The truth is he doesn't make too many of them, so it's a lot harder than you'd probably think. He made quite a few in the last one. You saw a lot of sends on goal where he kind of pulled that fadeaway maneuver and just was like, I got this, don't worry. And it didn't end up going in, so like the diva moment for him where he went for that, pushing towards the goal and then running away, ended up resulting in really solid opportunities for Klassux. He doesn't seem to be doing that so much here, but a huge miss from Lachinio is going to set Klassux up for a potential opportunity, and there you go. Those mistakes that we just spoke of, they're going to show their ugly head, and Klassux is going to get a freebie. Now only down 3 goals.
3 goals here to go. Klassux. The ball goes towards the other net in front of Lachinio instead. Lachinio takes the boost, and Klassux is going to get the one at midfield. So I think chat was right on point. They waited for the error to happen from Lachinio and then shoved the ball down and got a goal. Lachinio dribbles it in, gets it right past Klassux instead. So Klassux trying to be a solid defender there, doesn't quite get it instead. So Lachinio again, dribble goal at the front of his car and kind of shoves it right past him. 6-2, 3 minutes left.
Klassux was going for the defensive play there, in that he was going to play the aerial, and he's done it a couple times where Lachinio's gone for that lift shot like he's probably about to do here. Klassux was basically trying to counterplay that, and it just didn't work out for him there as Lachinio saw the positioning and realized what he was going to do. So it's really difficult for Klassux, and Lachinio, again, great positioning, but a solid save from Klassux. It's going to send it back out towards midfield. He picks up the boost, but Lachinio is already back on defense. Lachinio drives past the ball, but the double back is going to result in a wall ride. Wow, a crazy hit from Klassux. Ends up sending it right back towards the goal. But Lachinio in solid position again to stop it. Now Klassux has to try and predict the unpredictable here from Lachinio, and he does so perfectly. The challenge is going to result in a long-distance goal for Klassux. Only down 3 now, and it's a tie game. Reminder, 1-1 is the score after Klassux kind of pulled a bit of an upset there in the second game and forced it to a tie. And now he's trying to potentially take that lead, but he's got a little bit of a mountain to climb here, down 3 goals.
The ball's going to end up towards the blue side. Lachinio's going to have control. Klassux decides to get in his net and play defense here. Goes for the aerial, does hit it up, but is he going to be able to get positioned and back in time for Lachinio to shoot another ball? Lachinio shoots it in front of the net, but he's not going to really get there. Klassux does take control of the ball. Goes a little bit more defensive here. Lachinio goes to the ball and decides to go back a little bit. Says, you know what, they probably don't have enough time. Klassux shoots a little lobber up. Lachinio goes for the aerial. Nice, beautiful save by him. He's going to go back. He's going to grab the boost. Lachinio does take control of the ball. He's going to dribble a little bit here. Maybe he's going to go for that flick shot again. Klassux, beautiful save by him. Nice defense coming out. Not quite enough boost to hit it up, but Lachinio, you're not there. You're not there at all. There he is. There he comes out. He says, Klassux, I don't think you have enough time, pal. Look at this aerial coming out. Klassux gets there. Nice, beautiful side swipe with his car, and he's going to be able to go because of it. Nice play. 4 to 6, only down 2, minute left. I think it can happen.
So Lachinio goes for the aerial and just narrowly misses the ball, and Klassux capitalizes on that bit of a whiff there by him. Something that I've seen from Lachinio is you're kind of forced to challenge him. You can't let him play his kind of game because he's going to get into your head and he's going to beat you on those little flick shots that he does. He wants you to, get him in a position where he's really close on goal. You can see there, Klassux plays passively to a certain extent, hoping that Lachinio is going to bring the ball to him, and he just chips it up over Klassux's head. And the few times that this hasn't worked for Lachinio is when Klassux went right at him and challenged him. So he can't necessarily allow Lachinio to get into positions where he puts the ball in the front of his car and then lifts it over him. He's got to see that happening, and he just needs to get aggressive in those instances. But the thing is, if he gets aggressive and misses, it's a gamble that will turn into a goal either way. So it's risky play, but it's at this point where you need to make those kind of decisions, and Lachinio balloons the lead here. It's now 8-4, doubling up his opponent. Klassux kind of fizzling out here towards the latter half of this third game. So we're going to be moving into that fourth game, more than likely with a 2-1 lead in favor of Lachinio.
He's really coming alive. This is going to be a free goal as well. So, unfortunate turn of events. He says, you know what? I don't want a goal. No problem. Don't need it. Score another way instead. Never mind. So he had an open goal, but decided not to go with it. So I think he realizes that it's 4 goals up. So he's good to go. Klassux is going to go back on defense here. Decides to do a nice little barrel roll. Another barrel roll coming out. Oh,
Kickflip.
Kickflip. Lachinio's just
Pop, shove it,
dribbling
late
the
flip.
ball on the roof of his car,
I think
showing off his ability.
Both players realized that the game was over. Lachinio could potentially go for the last-minute goal here. He's just going to try and goof off here in mid. He's finally losing control of the ball. Nope, he's still got it. Just driving around in circles. It's about to drop off the inside edge. No, he continues to hold on to the ball. There you go. Lachinio lets the ball touch. And that's going to be a 2-1 now in favor of Lachinio. And we talked about it before. Sheer volume of shots for Lachinio finally working out for him. 11 shots on goal here, 8 making their way across the line. Compared to Klassux, 5 shots on goal, with 4 making it in. And a lot of those were based on mistakes made by Lachinio, where he was well out of position. So Klassux, I'd like to see him get a little more aggressive with his challenges here in this next one. Don't allow Lachinio to play that game that he's been playing, of putting that ball in his hood and just lifting it into the goal. You got to get up in his face. You got to get dirty almost. You got to get rough. I would like to see him get like a little more physical, bump Lachinio around a little bit more, try and fight him for control of that ball, because when he plays a little bit more passive like he's been playing in some of these games, it seems like Lachinio has had a bit of an easier game, and he can kind of put himself in positions where he feels way more comfortable.
Where are these boys at?
Who are we waiting on here? We are waiting on Lachinio, who left the game. Oh, he's changing cars. Okay.
Oh boy, I can't wait to see this.
He he begged our producers if he could change cars. So he's made the change. He's back in the game, and we are going to be going live in just a second here. Just waiting on Klassux to get back in the game, and there you go. Both players connected. It's time for more Rocket League. It's going to be a 2-1 in favor of Lachinio. Klassux really needs to take this one, force it to that 5th game. Ball's going to dribble in towards the blue side. And Lachinio trying to make another play on the goal here. Klassux with a nice stop, sending it back out towards the midfield. Now he's got control of it. Lachinio with the back pedal. Great hit from him. And now he's going to send it off the wall. Maybe that car change making him feel a little bit more comfortable here as he's got control of it in mid yet again. Going to try and lift up over his opponent's head like he's done so many times.
Oh,
and there
my.
it is. The dribbling maneuvers by Lachinio reign supreme.
Insane.
And the early goal goes his way.
Look at that. Klassux is just like, what do I do? Tries to hit the ball out of him, but Lachinio, that's beautiful, man. I'm really impressed with these guys. Like, this is so fun to watch. Klassux goes to the little bit of a face-off. He's going to be able to take control of the ball, but Lachinio's right on his tail and decides to go back instead. So, full boost in favor of Klassux. He does save that ball. Nice save. Aerial coming out of Lachinio. Good save by Klassux. So, Klassux maybe slowed down a little bit. Nope. Gives the ball right away to Lachinio instead. So, let's see what he can do with this ball. Klassux is going on the roof. And on the side panel, Lachinio going for the aerial. Klassux saves it instead. Lachinio swooping back around. He's going to try to play defense here. Klassux grabs the boost, hits it off the sidewall. Lachinio doing a little bit of a dribble going on. Klassux is trying to contest here as well. Klassux picks up 1 boost, 2 boosts, steals them away from Lachinio instead. Klassux, if he can get there in time, that's going to be not quite enough. Can he kind of bump it? No, Lachinio, wide open net. This might end up being a goal for him instead. No, Klassux is back in time, so good play by him.
The send back into the orange zone. Klassux with a decent bop on it. He's got an opportunity for the aerial, but he's going to allow Lachinio to do what Lachinio does best, and that's just get airborne and clear it out. Ball dribbles in towards the blue corner. Klassux trying to put it up over his opponent's head, but Klassux not able to do so. Lachinio just puts a little bit on it and sends it into the corner. Klassux now at midfield. The header to try and keep it up. Tries to lift it over Lachinio, and Lachinio goes for the challenge, gets physical against Klassux, and he ends up winning that fight. Ball's going to be shifted out towards midfield yet again by Klassux here. Now drilled into the zone. A decent centering opportunity, but Lachinio getting airborne one more time. Double tap, looking for the triple. Doesn't end up hitting it, but it does get drilled into the blue corner, and there's the physical play we wanted to see from Klassux. This time it's going to be Lachinio. That's going to give him the 2-0 lead with 2:50 left on the clock. Really haven't seen a whole lot of anything from Klassux just yet. He's going to have to pick things up here. He's only got 1 shot on goal, and he's had to save 2 already from Lachinio.
A little bit less possession, I would say, end of Lachinio here, but Klassux hasn't made that many saves so far. So Lachinio is going to be able to take the ball in the left corner of Klassux's net side. Klassux is going to be able to save this.
Oh,
that's
my God.
Oh, God.
I hope we get to watch this one again. Lachinio just flying around, the daisy doodle, just
Goes
flipping left
dunk.
and right, and hits it in off the inside post.
Oh.
That was nutty.
He just dunked on him so hard. Oh,
Yeah, what do you
Lachinio,
even say to that one? Just
you were
like,
making this so entertaining.
like I
Lachinio takes
said-
control of the ball again. Klassux is going to be playing defense here, but what point do you go up and try to contest the ball when Lachinio's dribbling it? I think that's probably one of the bigger questions.
Immediately.
Immediately.
In my opinion, you need to take that challenge early, because if you're just giving him too much of an opportunity to juke you, the longer you let him control the ball, the more he's going to play that mind game, and he's won it so many times. You can play patient, and that's fine, but some players you just gotta challenge them. And Klassux did that really well in the game that he took. In the second game, he played that challenge perfectly, and it kind of put Lachinio in positions where he was making a lot of mistakes, but it's been all Lachinio ever since then. He's been controlling the ball fluidly and dynamically, and you can see just beating Klassux here early. He's going to send one off the wall again, getting airborne. The beautiful flipping around, but a huge save from Klassux. Last second, I thought for sure that was another goal, but it doesn't matter anyways. Lachinio puts it back. It's now 5-0. Lachinio sealing the deal here in the fourth game.
He's so aggressive, and I don't know. I mean, even with these beautiful saves from Klassux, it's just so hard for him because there's so many shots coming in. If you look at the shot ratio, 8 shots. I mean, you mentioned this the last 3 games, but Lachinio 8 shots took Klassux 1. What do you do? Eventually, 8 of these, 5 of the 8 have been in, right? So it's hard to do anything with it. But Klassux comes back, strikes back, and gets his first goal of the game. Got a minute 45 to score 4 more and send this into overtime. They're both going to go for the face-off. Klassux does win the face-off. This should bounce off right in front of the net for him. Doesn't quite get there, so Lachinio's going to take control of the ball instead. Klassux going to grab the boost and go back to defending here. But Lachinio, here's that deadly dribble we're talking about. A little bit of flick of the hood. I don't like saying flick of the hood. It sounds...
I don't know. How does that sound bad? I think it sounds fine.
I don't know. That flick of the wrist is just different. You know what I'm saying?
I guess. Yeah, I guess you could say that. We could find another term for that. But either way,
we need some like Wikipedia Rocket League terms.
Can we call it Lachinioing? I don't think that necessarily rolls off the tongue nicely.
No, there's too many syllables of that.
We need to find some kind of term. I feel like that's something that's great about getting in on the ground floor with competitive Rocket League is that we can kind of be the ones that coin terms. Like, we have BDP for Counter-Strike. We could have things like that similar for Rocket League that we came up with. We could be like, oh yeah, that was Boxing. He was the first one to say the McMuffin special, and now it's become ubiquitous with whatever that move actually ends up being. It's going to get sent back into the orange zone here by Klassux. A decent opportunity for a shot on goal, but Lachinio in really solid position to send it out, and he does so easily. Klassux now trying to retreat, gets in position, puts some contact on it. Now Lachinio is going to have to get airborne if he wants to stop this goal. Puts some on it, but not enough. Hits off the post and drops in front of the net. 6-2 is your scoreline now. 35 seconds left here for Klassux to continue fighting for tournament hopes. He's got to score 4 goals in very short succession.
Hits him with that 180 save, but Klassux is there to get the rebound instead. So looks like he might come close. 30 seconds left, 4 goals to go. Lachinio, let's see some fancy footwork out of you once more. Klassux is going to go up towards the net, kind of sets himself up. Lachinio makes a slight error, actually comes back down. That's unbelievable. He's so good at correcting himself. Lachinio actually gets a goal out of it too. So Klassux, even though he blows him up, the ball goes in regardless. 7-2, Lachinio will take the series.
Yeah, I mean, there's no chance at this point for Klassux to come back from this. I mean, he got to score 5 goals in a ridiculous amount of time, so he's just going to dribble the ball around. He's just going to waste the clock out. He knows exactly what happened here. Lachinio with solid play here. Klassux does manage to take a game off him, and for a moment it seemed like he was going to take that first game as well, and it could have been a 2-0 very early for Klassux, but he wasn't able to capitalize in the late game, and that's kind of what happened throughout most of these. Klassux would get off to a great start, but he would fail to capitalize on the late game. So that is going to be that one. It is going to be Lachinio moving on with a 3-1 over Klassux. And our next game is going to be Felt Up versus Donnie Waters. Now, Donnie Waters, I'm trying to remember what his in-game name is, because I'm just going off of what he's signed up as. But we'll probably be jumping into that one immediately. I'm waiting for word here from our producer.